Eto na ang programang magiging gabay mo upang ikaw ay matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela! Makinig at matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela! Alternatibong programang handog ng DepEd Soxargen na kahit saan ka man ay matututo ka. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela!
Naguguluhan, nalilito. Paano ba
Good day, grade 10 learners. This is your school on air in grade 10 English. I'm glad to be learning with you through radio. I am Mr. Danilo Di Coquilia Jr. from Buayan National High School. How are you, my dear students? Make sure that you are in your most comfortable place and can clearly hear our broadcast. Have you eaten your meal? In order for you to learn and understand our lesson this day properly, it would be better if you have already eaten your meal. Greetings also to all the supportive parents out there listening to our broadcast. This time, I want you to bring out your handout. Again, let me remind you that our lesson for today is about the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. Specifically, evaluate text using reading comprehension skill. Okay everyone, please bring out your handout now. Okay everyone, before we will begin with a new lesson, let's take a look and review the concepts you have learned in the past lesson. I hope that you can still remember all our previous lesson. Can you still remember what we had learned last time? Anyone? Very good. In the previous lesson, we have learned about differentiating, compare, and contrast using graphic organizers. We also discussed about Venn diagram and chart diagrams. Anyone who can give me the difference of the two? A Venn diagram is a graphic organizer that is made up of 2 or 3 overlapping circles. In mathematics, Venn diagrams are used to visualize the relationship between 2 or 3 sets. A chart diagram, also called a matrix diagram or table, is a type of graphic organizer that condenses and organizes data about multiple traits associated with many items or topics. Charts can be used to show attributes of items, to compare and contrast topics, and to evaluate information. This time, please be ready to learn our new lesson. Are you ready? If you want to go to the toilet or drink water, do it now, because a few moments from now, we are going to start. Hello? Are you back, dear students? Please get your notebook and your pen now. As what I have said a while ago, our lesson for today is the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. Specifically, evaluate text using reading comprehension skill. Please bring out your handout so you can follow me, your radio teacher, Mr. Danilo Di Coquilia Jr. from Buayan National High School. To all the grade 10 learners, this is our module number 4, lesson number 3. Later, we will have a short quiz again. If you will listen very carefully and attentively to the lesson, I am sure you can answer the questions well. So good luck, learners, and enjoy the lesson. This is English 10, Quarter 1, Module number 4, Lesson number 3. Good day again, grade 10 students. I'm back, your radio teacher, Mr. Danilo Coquilia Jr. Our lesson today is about the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. Specifically, evaluate text using reading comprehension skill. Are you ready? Please get your notebook and ballpen because we are now going to start our lesson. Learning how to compare and contrast is a very important skill. This is very useful to our daily life in making firm decisions. It improves comprehension by highlighting important details, making abstract ideas more concrete, and reducing the confusion between related concepts. It is necessary for interaction with the environment that helps an individual organize both new and known information. Remember to maintain safety even at home. Always wash your hands with soap and water. So let us now start. So here we go. In the previous lesson that you have taken, knowledge has already took place. To evaluate your reading comprehension skills, you are going to evaluate a text. Note the similarities and differences between or among objects, ideas, entities, concepts, events, or other subjects. Hello everyone! Do you know that there are many ways to compare and contrast the features of items, people, events, and etc.? Yes, and there are many types of graphic organizers make it easier to examine the similarities and differences, including the Venn diagrams, charts, and others. We started our lesson on charts on a previous lesson. This time, as an example of a graphic organizer, we will elaborate on the said topic. A chart diagram, also called a matrix diagram or a table, is a type of graphic organizer that condenses and organizes data about multiple traits associated with many items or topics. Charts can be used to show attributes of items, to compare and contrast topics, and to evaluate information. For example, a chart can be used to create a display of arthropod characteristics. Or a chart can be used to compare and contrast the major features of a plant and animal cells or to chart plant growth. For you to understand more on graphic organizers, I want you to bring out your self-learning module, page number 15. Okay everyone, please bring out your self-learning module number 4 so you can follow with the lesson. This lesson requires you to open your modules since we will be talking about comparing and contrasting and the needs to look and identify the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. Before we proceed, I want you to open your self-learning module on page number 15. I want you to answer activity 3.1. Use a Venn diagram to find the similarities and differences between an airplane and a bus. All answers must be written in your answer sheet. Okay students, I will give you 2 to 3 minutes to answer the activity. Hello again, grade 10 students. Let us continue with our lesson. Have you answered your activity? We will check that later, okay? Now for the continuation of our lesson, semantic feature analysis charts are used to examine the similarities and differences of a group of items, people, events, and etc. This type of chart is often used to compare and contrast characteristics and for simple logic puzzles. Try using a Venn diagram or compare and contrast matrix to better understand the pattern development. The following signal words will also help you in identifying such pattern. Are you still there, learners? Let us continue. Here are signal words for comparing. Also, equally, in the same way, similarly, as in a similar, like, and to compare. Signal words for contrasting: although, even so, instead, and otherwise. To sum up what we have discussed, remember that comparing things means pointing out their similarities or what they have in common. There are two main reasons that people use comparison and contrast: to explain and to evaluate. There are several ways that we can use to identify the similarities and differences of two or more subjects from both printed and visual materials. There are several graphic organizers that we can use to compare and contrast things to be able to identify their similarities and differences. I hope that you have understood our lesson today about the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. We will do the recap later after some reminders. Good luck on your short quiz, students. Thank you. And we are back on our School on the Air. This is your radio teacher, Mr. Danilo de Coquillo Jr. from Buaya National High School. We have learned a while ago about the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. We enjoyed the lesson, right? And we are back once again on the School on the Air in Grade 10 English. I shared about the different graphic organizers used to compare and contrast. Please open your notes again and let us review what you have learned today. Let us review what we have learned today. Are you ready, students? Okay, let us start. A chart diagram, also called a matrix diagram or table, is a type of graphic organizer that condenses and organizes data about multiple traits associated with many items or topics. Charts can be used to show attributes of items, to compare and contrast topics, and to evaluate information. For example, a chart can be used to create a display of arthropod characteristics, where a chart can be used to compare and contrast the major features of plant and animal cells, or the chart of the plant growth. Semantic feature analysis charts are used to examine the similarities and differences of a group of items, people, and events, and etc. This type of chart is often used to compare and contrast characteristics and for simple logic puzzles. Can you still remember the signal words for comparing and contrasting? Anybody? Do you have that in your notes? Very good, students. Signal words for comparing are the following: also, equally, in the same way, similarly, as in a similar, like, and to compare. The signal words for contrasting are the following: although, even so, instead, and otherwise. I believe you have learned a lot from the very start of our lesson. It's a pleasure that you will perfectly remember the significant points of your lesson. Now that we are done with our lesson, it is time to measure your knowledge and what you have learned today. Please bring out your quiz form. Please write your name, section, and day today. Please do not forget the lesson number for this quiz today. Module number 4, lesson number 3. Good! That is correct. Are you ready? Please set aside your notes and listen very carefully. Now that you have learned much from the start of this lesson, it's time for you to check what you have learned. When you compare two pieces of writing, you look for things that are the same. When you contrast them, you look for things that are different. I will read text and compare the two narratives. Write your answer in your answer sheets. Okay, please bring it out. Ready? Jimmy: on my birthday, I went on a horseback trail ride with friends. We rode for an hour. then stopped for a picnic lunch. We had cake, and I opened a few small presents they had brought with them. Evelyn. On my birthday, I had a party. 6 friends came over and we played games. Then we had cake and ice cream. And I opened presents. I had one huge present from my parents. It was a bicycle. Jamie and Evelyn have both written about the recent birthday parties. Compare and contrast them by using a Venn diagram. That ends our short quiz for today. Have you answered all the questions, students? Make sure that you have written all the important details in your quiz form. If you have more questions, please do not hesitate or include to write it down. If you have any questions or would like to clarify, please write them down as well. Include your greetings or request. You can also request a song you want to hear at our school on the air. Okay, so I want you to bring out and check your answers in the previous activity I have given you. Activity 2.1 and the similarities and differences of a butterfly and a moth. Please bring out your activity and please check your answers honestly. These are the answers in your quiz. Differences. For Jimmy. Went on a horseback riding. Celebrated his birthday with some friends. Rode for an hour and received a small gift. Evelyn had a house party, celebrated together with 6 friends, and had a big gift from her parents. Similarities. Both celebrated their birthdays and both had cakes. Did you get all the correct answers? Wow, that was great! Congratulations! The previous activities that we had yielded very nice results. You were able to define and differentiate, compare, and contrast. You did a good job in using the graphic organizers and even read the materials with comprehension by giving the correct answers. This ends our discussion for today. Another lesson has been learned and understood. For further enhance your understanding on the lesson, please read your handout. You will be notified by your subject teacher through text message for more information and clarification. You can also send your activity to your teacher's email or send a message through Facebook. I hope to be learning with you again in our next lesson. I am your teacher on the air, Mr. Danilo Di Coquilla Jr. from Buayan National High School for School on the Air in Grade 10 English. Make sure you stay tuned on our School in the Air. Till next time, always remember to study hard. Have a great day ahead, everyone. Stay safe and God bless. Goodbye!
Bagong araw na naman, bagong kaalaman, bagong matututunan sa paaralang panghimpapawid. Kami samahan, sabayan ng mga aralin, mga gawain siguradong kagigiliwan. Oras na, alisto na, halina't makinig at matuto sa